big news for Total War Rome Remastered. CA and Feral did a Q&A on their Discord, and we got a lot of interesting answers, but none more than confirmation that the faction cap has been increased. I'm wasting no time saying this, as I know this is why you are probably here. The most asked question I have received. I was going to upload this yesterday, but it was April Fool's Day yesterday, and I did not want to leave you in doubt. We have no numbers yet, but the faction cap, confirmed by Feral, has been increased. First of all, what does this mean? Well, in the original, you could not add any factions. For example, if you wanted to play Epirus, you would have had to remove another, like Parthia, to replace it. This made it very difficult for modders making their overhauls. Nah, the cap has now been increased, meaning you can now add Epirus, or Illyria, or both, without having to delete anything else. This, combined with the new campaign map being moddable, and the settlement cap getting an increase, suddenly makes the modding scene very interesting. It is now, by far, the most moddable Total War title ever. Hey, maybe no more rebels as well. However, we don't yet have exact numbers on what the faction cap now is, but suddenly it comes into question. What are the limits? Could modders now create Rise of Mordor looking units, but on a campaign map, for example? Could the barbarian factions in Rome no longer be forced into unity? Could modders potentially be able to recreate Medieval 2 Remastered for themselves? Given the info we now have, the likely answer is yes. Leave a like if you are excited for this feature, and comment down below what faction would you add into the game, or into your favourite overhaul mod that was before impossible. I think the Carthaginian Republic being split into 3, like Rome, like I discussed in a previous video, could be really interesting. Okay, but there's other stuff they also talked about that needs covering. Okay, sorry past MELKOR, but future MELKOR has come back to this video just before uploading. We have a patch, and I am happy to say family trees are now back. Look at them. They're beautiful. It's so beautiful. It pops out as its own little screen, you can scroll around, it's beautiful, I love it. It was taken out temporarily, but now it's been added back in a much more polished format. Now this is not the final version of the family tree. They're still saying they want to do a little bit more work on them to make them even better. On top of that, every single faction has their own style. For example, I'm showing Julii now, they are in red, Macedon has a black background, Carthage white, Scipii blue, all of that, and I think they look beautiful. Also, in the new patch, they added a graphic slider to adjust the vibrancy. If people did not like the overly bright green, I think they've probably fixed it at this point. You can turn it all the way down or all the way up, which at this point was one of the most requested features. And we all know a lot of the units did look incredibly pale at times. Now, I don't know if this has been fixed 100%, but in the patch notes, Mediterranean units are now more tanned. So that should, I hope, fix the super pale soldiers. We've now got 2 more toggles. There's a population balance toggle, which reworks the population a little bit depending on whether you use small unit scale or huge unit scale. If you want the remastered version, choose that. If you want to go back to the classical version, you can choose that as well. And there's also now a toggle for the AI. If you want the new, improved, updated AI, you can choose it. If you want the original, you can choose that too. And from what I'm seeing, there's also a few more AI improvements in here as well. which does sound good. Okay, but back to the video. We have also had further confirmation that yes, the campaign map is fully moddable. I won't pretend to know what this guy is on about, so we'll just leave it here and move on. They have taken the multiplayer hot seat campaign into consideration, but still non-officially planned for launch. This, however, is okay, given that modders should easily be able to recreate it using console commands like they did in the original. Arrow trails are removable. Did not see this option, but apparently it is in there. Adoptions work roughly the same as the original. You can pick and choose. However, there comes a point where if you have so many cities and so few generals, it will auto-adopt. Future MELKOR is back again. Hello. I talked with a developer about this, and apparently this was how it was in the original. If you held a lot of settlements but not enough generals, it would auto-adopt as well. Yeah, apparently that is a thing. Apparently it's a super rare thing. A lot of people saw it happen to Legend on stream, but maybe he just expands a little bit too quick for the game. But yeah, no worries there, that is the exact same as the original. But Man of the Hour is confirmed to be back. And now, time to talk about if the AI has improved. Now, AI for a small team is incredibly difficult to work with, especially on a complex game, and especially when they are working off the old engine. I personally did not expect any changes at all. However, apparently, the battle AI has been improved in some areas. Here are some details. AI is smarter with phalanxes, smarter at avoiding towers, and better fighting on walls, and better at breaching settlements. We also know campaign AI is better on sea and through diplomacy. So there's definitely improvements, but the AI does not get a complete overhaul. It is still very similar to the original. And last but not least, Rome Remastered will be supported post-release. What this means, I don't know. Definitely patches, maybe DLC, difficult to tell. And I know the Europa Barbarorum team have said they won't be making the switch. But listen, don't panic. This is okay. A lot of you have been out of the Rome scene for a while. Since then, there have been many other modders with a lot of potential come on board and rise up. Due to the game getting limited coverage by YouTubers, they kind of got pushed to the side a bit. But trust me, there's many other brilliant modders out there, happy to work on this game. Europa Barbarorum is brilliant, but the modding scene overall has come a long way since then. Ahowl has already announced that his Total War Realism team is back together and working on something, and devs seem interested in working closely with such modders. Anyway, like if you enjoyed, subscribe to get notified of more, but for now, I have been MELKOR, and until the next one, tomorrow's video, Melgon.